An urge is something that is connected to a whole host of eating disorder behaviors, things like binge eating or compulsive exercise or purging, and they can be incredibly uncomfortable and distressing to resist. Urges are made of both an emotional experience and a physiological experience. And what most people don't realize is that an urge is really just like any other emotion. It is something that will pass with time. Learning how to surf or ride that wave of an urge can be key to helping loosen its control and power over you. So I'm here today with Nikki, who's one of our peer mentors at Equip, and I'm wondering, Nikki, if you can tell us whether or not urge surfing was something that was helpful to you in your recovery.
Absolutely. Urge surfing was tremendously helpful, especially for urges for compulsive exercise. I found it really helpful with that.
I realize we haven't exactly talked about what urge surfing entails. So can you tell me what urge surfing actually is? What does it mean to do this skill?
So with this skill, you're going to notice the urge as it kind of comes to a peak and when it's its most difficult, and then you're going to watch it fall. And you're going to notice that without even necessarily having to do anything to change the urge, it's going to naturally pass. And you're going to notice that eventually the urge is gone altogether.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people don't realize that. I think where I see a lot of people struggle with urges is they get to that peak and then they either think that the peak is just going to continue to go up and get worse and worse and worse forever, or that it's always going to stay the same unless they do something to act on it. And so when you use urge surfing, you get to see that that's not true. It does actually go away all on its own. So we have a whole lot of other skills at Equip that we could use in response to an urge, things like distress tolerance skills like distraction or self-soothe. Why use urge surfing? Why would we, instead of distracting and kind of trying to pull away from that experience, why would we instead dive into it and actually increase our awareness of it or try to be mindful of it?
Yeah, when you're increasing your awareness of it through urge surfing, you're going to notice that it passes all on its own, which you might not notice with other skills where you feel like you have to keep using the skill in order to tolerate the urge.
Right. It's like instead of masking or covering it up, it's sort of like you're getting right to the root and trying to take care of the sensation altogether. I find people who do this, it's like this eye-opening experience almost that it doesn't have to have power over you anymore, that you really can just deal with it head on and you can resist it and not have to do anything to try to tolerate it or cover it up. What are some tips that you have for people who are urge surfing? What are the things that they should expect while it's happening?
I think when you're urge surfing, one of the important things to keep in mind is that you don't want to do anything that's going to kind of cause you to ruminate more on the thoughts about the urge. You want to just be kind of like going about your life and waiting for the urge to pass on its own.
So instead of feeding the urge, really just kind of we talk about almost like stepping back, really just riding on the edge, riding on the surface of it. You're there and you're noticing it, but you're separate and not responding to it.